Hey everyone. So today I would like to talk about agent capabilities, and this is mostly related to the prompt engineering and prompt context engineering. So all of these approaches are basically what needs to be considered when we are working with the agents and in the terms of like putting the right context into them. But before, so I'm going to talk about custom commands, subagents, and skills. Compare them, what they are similar to with, and what they are, what are the differences between those. And before I will talk about those, I probably need to tackle one more thing here, and that's the rules files or agent MD or whatever you use in your project. So basically, that's the rule files, from the rule code. You have these rule rules, I think, the client rules, cursor rules. So all of these files, they live in your main context of your agent, and they will give you some basic context of your project. So you should already have them set up, and agent knows what to like. Agent should have some information about your project, so what's located where, if it knows, if it so it knows what files to look at when the task comes. And actually also the process of like verification and tab checking and installation or building the application, if it needs to do that. So this is like the basics of that. And for these rules files, we need to understand that this is always in the context. So when you execute your agent, this thing is still there. So it's main. So it's part of the system prompt, and the agent knows about all these things. So we shouldn't like make it too long or too complex, but it also should be like informative enough to give enough context to the agent to perform the task the best. So there are like various agents. They offer you with the possibility to create these rules. Well, do you have some init commands which can create these rules? And but even if you don't have specific command for that in your agent, you should be able to just ask to create such file, either call it the agent MC file or the some rule files, and the agent usually have this information in the system prompt how to create these rules. So it should do that. So yeah, that's basically some fundamental part of the context engineering. But then there is more. There we have the custom commands. So before I will talk about custom commands, I would like ask you to tell me how many of you raise your hand if you have used custom commands in the past. So if you know what it is, if you have used it, I just want to know. Maybe yes, so I can see Peter.
We call it slash commands in rule code.
Yeah, slash commands as well. Slash commands, custom commands, or also custom prompts. They called differently in different agents. So yeah, custom commands or slash commands. They basically are some prompts that you are using regularly, or you want to trigger something. So basically, it's a prompt, and within this prompt, there can be some workflow. For example, run this command and do this with the result of the command or something like that. So basically, they are triggered manually. So you have to initiate that I want to trigger this command and use this prompt to do something in my code base. So you explicitly tell the agent to run them. So they are fundamental primitive of this building block of agent work. They provide you with some prompt you can basically run again. So for example, you can have a command to generate a comment message or create a component, and you can also specify some arguments which then are passed into the command. So I can show you this in the so commands, they usually live in a commands folder under your agent. So either you have this rule and the commands or prompts, or basically based on what they are called in the agent. And each command, or it's not a need, but usually they have some header there. and that header gives you some description of what this command does. So if you go to your agent and you find this, you can see all the commands you have. This one is within the review. Yeah. So if you go if you see your commands, you will be you will also see the description of the command, so you understand what this command is, should be used to. So for example, here I have a code base here with some changes, so I can run this command. And basically, what this command does is it's running the git diff, and based on the diff changes which are written from the command, it will give you the summary of changes, and will give you the whatever you decide to do with it. So I'm listing some potential bugs, risky changes, and stuff like that. So it will, based on the command, it will give you the information you want to get from this git diff. So this is useful when you have, again, like when you have the something you are running regularly, and there is some workflow in it, and you can trigger it manually. So this is the main point of the commands. The next thing is subagents. So again, I would like to know if you have used subagents in the past. How many of you?
Yes, we use them, or 𝐸 has them, but I'm not totally fond of them.
Is it subagents, Peter?
It's actually it is a subagent in the core, I would say.
Okay.
When orchestrator is spawning his own different agents.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the root code, it's basically it's agents which are run using the orchestrator. So that's from the point of view of root code. But other agents, agentic tools like GitHub Copilot, they don't really have this notion. So you can set up some agents and you can run them, switch between them manually, but there is no orchestrator that will do this, the running of the subagents for you. And for example, the cursor, they just introduced it right now with the composer. So there is a notion of these subagents and agents. They are run autonomously with the main agent. So this is the trigger. Like you have the main agent, and the main agent decides when to run these subagents based on the task. So the key feature here is the context isolation, because like when you run the subagent, it doesn't have the same context as the main agent. It runs separately with its own context, and then after its work is done, it will basically just give some result message back to the main agent, and main agent doesn't really know what subagent did in its flow. It only knows the response from the subagent. So that helps you to avoid this context pollution. So you don't really need to know everything about what subagents does between steps, and main agent is the main context of the main agent is kept clean using this. The superpower of this is a parallelization. So basically, main agent can run multiple subagents at the same time. So, for example, you have a subagent for code. You have a code base where you have a front end and back end, and you can spin up both like back end changes and front end changes at the same time using two different subagents. Both are specifically made for those changes on the front end or on the back end. So yes, mentioned here, the use case is like heavy, isolated, specialized task that shouldn't pollute your main context. This is the main idea. So they are isolated from your main context. I can show it here. So this is the same example. Like in AiDRDesk, you can define like these agent profiles, and for any of those agent profiles, you can specify that this profile is can be used as a subagent. And if you enable it as a sub-agent, you have like multiple options here. For example, context memory. So this is something that it's not available in other tools, but this is basically different from this context isolation, and allows you to actually give a sub-agent an option to have a full context as well from the main agent, or to give main agent the full context. So it's just kind of a way of isolating the tasks, but not the context. And then you have also the last message. So additional sub-agents will know the last message of the previous sub-agents if they run it again. But the most important thing is the system prompt here. So basically, each sub-agent has the specific system prompt of what it's used for. So for this code reviewer sub-agent, you want to give it enough information to know what to do when it should be reviewing the code. So for again, like we are running the git diff. This is important. Focus on modified changes. Begin blah blah blah. And then basically the checklist, what needs to be done when reviewing the code, and provide the feedback. So this is part of the system prompt. And another thing here is the invocation. So there are two different kinds of sub-agents. One is invocation on demand. So this means that basically the main agent, no, on demand is when you want to manually trigger this sub-agent. So you don't want main agent to be able to control that. But if you set it to automatic, the main agent will decide when to run it. So as an example, I can show you the maybe, yeah, so now as actually, which one was it? Yeah, so for example, this is the the 9 prompt. So I want to create this is for the new feature, and what main agent decided to do was to call the code-based analyst sub-agent, and the code-based this sub-agent is used to analyze the code base, and this is the prompt which main agent gave to the sub-agent. So analyze the message handling. So this is what main agent created for the sub-agent as a task. And this task is not by the sub-agent. So sub like reads the files needed for the task. It does some semantic search and then creates a comprehensive response for the main agent, what needs to be done in order to fulfill the request. So there is some information there for the main agent. So this is the last message is the only thing that main agent has in its main context now. So it doesn't have anything regarding what files were read and what semantic search returned. So this is additional tokens that basically are not needed for the main flow of the main agent. And after that, it decided to do another analysis. So basically created another code-based analysis with some additional things to figure out which was missing during the first one, and then the full implementation plan. So as I mentioned, these sub-agents, they are used for specific tasks, and usually they are invoked automatically by the agent. So you don't really have to care about when to use them. But there are some sub-agents you want to just use yourself, and you set them to on demand because you don't want main agent to use them extensively. Right. And the last thing I want to talk about is the skills. So I'm gonna again ask if you have used the skills, or if you even have heard about 𝐚𝐬_skills, because this is mostly the 𝐚𝐬 skills. So has anyone heard about them? Okay, yeah. So this is like very fresh stuff and new stuff, and it's been released last month, and it seems that Anthropic is like really pushing with these skills. Sorry. And they think that there's like like massive shift using these skills. But checking the influencers and the AI space, it's still not clear how these skills should be really used and utilized, and people and developers are still like figuring out what's the best use case. Because if I explain it to you, you will maybe ask, as I and others are asking, that basically what's the difference between the skills and the roles and stuff like that. So, but I will tell you what I understand the differences from that. So again, like we start with the trigger. So trigger is autonomous. Again, like agent initiates when to use them, and the key feature is the context efficiency and modularity. So I think the comparable thing to skills is the discursor rules. So again, maybe we should talk about what the skills are actually. So basically, the skills are very similar to the cursor to rules files, and they will give you some information about some specific information about your code base, or how to use something in your code, how to create some component. And basically, if you have like especially like a big code base and big project, and with lots of the parts and the components, then the skills can be used to give you some information about a specific part of the application, like how to, for example, in Protect, you can have a skill that will talk about the GWT components, and then another skill that will talk about how to use the React components in there, and how to use the UI library and stuff like that. So they are used to split the main rules files into some specific areas of the context information, of the knowledge base of your project. So you don't really need to give all of the information to your agent, and the agent then decides what skill to use based on the task you are working on. So so maybe to like show you what the skills are, maybe we can have a look at the examples. So this is from the Anthropic skills, that like base set of the skills. And to understand that these skills are basically used by also the cloud web application, not only the cloud code. So you can the cloud web application also uses can invoke those skills. They have the API for that, but that's not really important for us, because we are basically working with agents for coding agents. So, but the concept is the same here. So if you have a look at here, the skills live also in some kind of their directory, and each skills have its own directory, and they are basically separating the information about the skill. And the main entry point here is the skill MD. Actually, I'm going to show you a different one. Yeah, so this is a nice one for the developers. So for example, you can have a skill for implementation patterns, code review, debugging strategies, and stuff like that. So if you, for example, go to code review, you will have each of these skill folders will have the skill MD file. And if we have a look at the row format, again, like we will see that there is a header with the name of the skill and then the description. And then there is an whole information about the skill, so how it can be performed. So this is something that then is injected into the agent context. But at the beginning, like if you are working with the agent, the only thing that agent has is this part here. So it knows that, okay, I know that this project, I have these skills, like I have a code review excellence, and this is used when I want to code review and provide the constructive feedback and stuff like that. So it has all this information about each of the skills. For example, we can have a look at the I'm looking for a skill which, because the one thing, yeah, maybe we can go big here. Yeah, so one thing is that the skill MD file is an entry point, but you can have then another like files in within this skill. So for example, these templates files, templates folder, it's somehow reference from this skill here somewhere. Yeah, so you can have, so this is the step. Like the workflow is that you have to read this template viewer HTML and then study it, use that, blah blah. So the main thing here to know and to figure to understand is that inside the skill folder you can have additional like split documents which then are used from the skill. So for example, you don't have to like put it into your skill MD file. You can also separate the concerns. And additionally, if you have like some very complex skills, you can have multiple additional documentation files here, and based on the specific task of this which is using this skill, the skill can tell it, okay, I only use this document from the skill, so it doesn't have to load all of those. So this is very important, like for the context pollution. So you don't give agent too much information. You just need to give it just right amount of information to be able to perform your task. Because when you like give it too much information, your context will bloat, and the agent will also get confused. So it's very important to be able to do that like very efficiently. So this is what I understand the skills are here for. And it seems that people are still like figuring out what's the best use case, especially from the coding point of view, because like skills, they are best used for the more complex stuff, like, and more complex workflows, which are not really needed for some developer workflows. But for example, if we go to some other skills which are performed by this 𝐚𝐬𝐧 AI, they are a scientific research company, and they created some skills that basically, actually not here, but yeah, so they have the scientific skills. And if you have a look at, for example, the scientific databases, so you have like various databases regarding the science, and each of the skills basically describes you how to use this database. So what are the patterns to use there? What do you need to read the database? What do you need to be able to extract the data from it and stuff like that? So this is very important for this is very useful for the very complex skills and information, but maybe not so important for our developer workflows. But it's still can be used for like the context isolation when you have especially when you are working on a big project with a big code base. Yeah, so what I want to, so yeah, so this what I wanted to mention here, that's basically these code skills, they are still not integrated into the AI agents yet, but there is the MCP server which allows you to use them, which was this 𝐚𝐬𝐧𝐭 MCP. So basically you can set it up in your agent, and it will read the it will read the skills files from your home, 𝐚𝐽 and skills, and it will be able to use those to, for example, to perform the code review. So we can try it in an agent for the same task as we did here. So okay, let me enable it. Yeah, so now it's invoking the MCP server, it's finding the helpful skill. So if we have a look here, it found the code review excellence, and based on that, actually, it will invoke the code review agents. So let me just reduce this. Yeah, so basically it goes for the components, and I'm not sure, I didn't really use this skill before, so this is new also to me. I did use the different one for reviewing, but this one probably doesn't really. I would say that it should. We can have a look at the skill itself, because it's pretty comprehensive, but I'm not sure if it's how does it decide what to check for. So there is no like git diff as in the previous examples, but you can basically update it to use that instead. Yeah, so this is basically just yeah. So I think we need to use the git diff before, and then we can trigger this to be able to do it effectively, because now it's trying to just read a bunch of the files, which doesn't really make sense. So yeah, I won't bother with you with that. All right, so yeah, so as I mentioned, so this is perfect for like packaging the domain specific expertise, so for complex use cases. And yeah, so last thing, this is this comparison summary of those three features. So again, like we can have a look at how they are triggered, what's the context information they have, what's their superpower, and when to use. So again, with the custom commands, they are manually triggered. With the subagents, automatic, also with the skills. As for the context, the custom command are living in the main context, so you're basically triggering them annually with using the main context. And subagent has the isolated context, and it's basically lost after the subagent execution. And skill, basically the context is also in the main context, but it's efficient because it doesn't really load up the main context with some information which is not needed for the specific task. And again, the simplicity is the superpower is the simplicity for custom commands, parallelization for the subagent, and the skill is the autonomy. So the agent decides what to put into the context to be able to perform the best with the given task. And when to use it. So again, like custom commands really have the place. They are simple. They need to be use them when you want to when you want to manually trigger something, and basically they are some kind of a reusable prompt or reusable task. So something you do regularly. For subagent, this is for especially good for heavy and isolated tasks. And also if you are able to do it in parallel, that's perfect. But this is, I think, the most important here, that it's some task that will take some time and will eat up quite a lot of your context, but it can be isolated. And for skill, some complex recurring workflow to be able to automate. So this is the main point of that. Yeah, so as the last thing here, like, don't really think of these things as a replacement, especially the skills. I don't think it will replace any of those existing features. I think this still, like, we need to think of them as a layer of composition. So all of those places have all these features have this its place, and the best thing we can do is like to find out what is best for our use case, for our code base, for our specific tasks. And that's the probably main idea from all of this. All right. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you.
I've got a question.
Yep.
On the
State your
beginning,
name.
you said about the rules and setting rules. And also you mentioned like when you're prompting, you should add also these rules. So maybe I'm confused now. Like when you're creating prompt, you should always somehow attach the things like saying, okay, look at the rules as well.
No. What I wanted to say, maybe I wasn't clear. So these rules, they are in your project, and agent uses them automatically.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, agent expects to not expects, but it looks for these files automatically, and it adds them to your context all the time. So you don't have to do it yourself.
Right.
But the main point here was that it's there, it's in the context, so you cannot really avoid it. If you have the raw files, they are part of the context.
Right. And one more question, like you mentioned, the agent may help you to create rules. Yeah, so how you just prompt the agent, like look at the actual the project and try to create rules for me, or what would be the best prompt for it? Because when I try to do the rules, I always do them myself. So because when you're doing some project from the scratch, so you don't have really like anything to look at. So
yeah, this is like when you have project from the scratch, you probably will need to do it yourself manually, or you can like use the agent to help you to write some kind of rules based on some previous projects. But in the existing projects, you usually have some command like this one, like init, which will go through your code base, and it will create this agent MD or whatever rule files based on the information it will gather during the run.
Are there any like kind of templates, or how this command init creating these rules? Like there is certain like steps which he has to go through and make sure he put this in the rules. Like don't forget the text tag, and I don't know what kind of data.
Yeah. So basically, how they usually do it, the agents, you have some system, again, like system prompt, which basically you tell it to like do some work and workflow. So for example, you should look at you should look at the project, what it is, like is it the Node.js project, is it an Edge.js project, React project, stuff like that. So all this information is basically given as a system prompt to your agent, and after that it will like you will also give some like output requirements. So what needs to be done in the what needs to be included in this raw file. So some mandatory stuff here or some optional, and like what needs, like what's important for these raw files to be able to, for agent to then use it effectively in the subsequent tasks. So usually this is done by the AI coding tool. You don't see this system prompt. It's internal. And if not, then you basically can like ask to, or maybe like if the agent doesn't provide you with this capability of like having this init command or whatever, you can like find some cursor rules on the internet. There are, I think you shouldn't have trouble to find them, and just pass them to your agent and ask, okay, create rules files to create rule files or agent MD files for this project based on this template or something like that. So
okay. All right, thanks.
And then like during the development, if you are running task and if you find that, okay, the agent doesn't really considers this when doing this task, you will add this to your specific rules. So maybe you will create another set of rules. For example, I have the conventions MD file, which basically gives information about how the components should be created and how the, like, when using the enums, how they should be specified and stuff like that. So like these little things which will then help your agent to follow the rules you have in your project. Then you can add them like continuously.
Okay.
So, so these skills is like a way of agents to search for their own context, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Like the agent will decide based on your task to figure out which skill is best to use for that. So like it's really like useful when you really have a big code base and you don't really want to put every part of information into the context as raw files. You can do that as a skill, and agent will decide, okay, I will need this skill to perform this task better.
Yeah, this can be useful. I can imagine in our case to define more skills and then to use them when needed. Okay, you mentioned with passing context to subagents in 𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐻, you are either passing full context or you are passing last message. Did you think about passing or creating a compressed version of the context and passing just that? Maybe that would help with the context pollution. Or is the last message enough? Or something in between?
Basically, the way how these subagents are working, they know that basically what they write as a last message, it's given to the main context. So they will try to compress all the information in there. So basically, this is the compressed information for the main agent. So don't really need to compress it again, because that's all the information that was compressed.
Okay. And one thing, I didn't use 𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐻 for a while now. When did you add semantic search? Was it there from the beginning, or I don't remember?
Yeah, it was there. It's part of the Power Tools. Yeah, it was there from the beginning.
So we are using Tricitter for that, or some?
I'm using I can show you.
Vector database.
So I'm using this probe, and it's a combination of some vector search and Tricitter and LSP and stuff like that. I from my experience, it works really well. So I stick with it. I didn't have any reason to try something else or to implement vector database embedded or whatever. This really works well.
This service is running locally, or is it? It's just MPX command, right?
It's all locally, and it's also it's really fast to initialize and to use. So that's also one of the plus of the project, and it's open source.
Okay, thanks for the info.
I'm actually surprised that it only has these many stars, because like it's working very well. I didn't see anything like that. So maybe they're missing marketing as 𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐻 does.
Did until lately.
Well. Okay. Any other questions? If not, then we can wrap it up.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Great
Bye-bye.
presentation. Rob.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you, guys.